plays like no other.
Who are the punters backing?
It's the one we've all been waiting for.
World-class racing.
The greatest show on turf.
The calm before the roar.
Betfred, at the heart of Cheltenham.
History beckons for Boum Photo as he looks to join Golden Miller, Cottage Rake, Arkle and recently Best Mate by winning a hat-trick of well-child Cheltenham Gold Cups.
Wins the Magnus Cheltenham Gold Cup. Albert Photo, back-to-back Gold Cup.
What a week it's been. It's been very different, but it's been a very, very special week. Irish eyes are smiling. Ireland 17, Great Britain 4. And in fact, it's currently Rachel Blackmore 5, Great Britain 4. And she's even fallen off 4 times. What a week she's having. She is one hell of a jockey. And she's got a great chance today. But let's talk about Boum Photo, Tom. Going for the hat-trick, last seen on New Year's Day at Tramore, yet could go in the history books today.
With the exception of Cheltenham, only seen on New Year's Day at Tramore nowadays. And as Willie Mullins himself has said, if it ain't broken, why fix it? Boum Photo, his now unconventional but perfectly structured preparation is to turn up on New Year's Day, first day of January, in Tramore, down in County Waterford. It's an unconventional track. In fact, it's a bit like Hereford, but tilted on its side. It's the last place in the world you'd expect a Gold Cup winner to turn up in.
Undulating?
No, it's like a frying pan tilted on its side. So they're racing away to from the stands. They come past you, racing right-handed. They then race round an awkward bend. They then race downhill into a dip and come back round the stands to you. It's sharp, awkward. It's the most unconventional racetrack. I was really shocked when I went there. I never really seen anything like it. It is the last place in the world you'd expect a Gold Cup winner to turn up in, but it works.
Are we going to see history this afternoon, or are we going to see a challenge from somewhere else?
Oh, we're going to see a challenge, don't you believe it? If you think this is a penalty kick and past the post, you're going to be sorely mistaken, because you've got the richly promising Minella Indo. We've got that phenomenal pilot. Could she do it? She's already won the champion hurdle. She's had a grade 1 every day. I'm talking about Rachel. I'm talking about A Plus Tard. You've got the likes of Kemboy. You've got the likes of course, Champ, the most improbable winner 12 months ago in the RSA. He arrived from nowhere to burgle that race. He will be staying on if his jumping holds up. But in answer to your question, will we be seeing a 3-time, or will we be seeing a 5th horse in history to win 3? I think we will. He's top rated. He's the specialist. He's been saved for this. Not too many miles on the clock. The 175 rated Cheltenham Gold Cup hat-trick hero could be Boum Photo.
Boum Photo, that is at 3:05. It's a feature race. It's the well-child Cheltenham Gold Cup. And we are 4 places each way on the Cheltenham Gold Cup. One at a big price will get in the frame. Could we see Native River, won it 2 years ago, Richard Johnson on board? Could we see Champ, named after the greatest ever jockey? Could it be Santini, just 2nd last year? Could it be Rachel Blackmore and Henry de Bromhead to make history by winning the champion hurdle, the Queen Mother Champion Chase and the Gold Cup all in the same year? What's the story going to be at 3:05, Matt?
Well, let's have a look at the betting before we do. Let's talk about the going then, because it is good to soft, good in places, dried out slightly now. The big thing is, don't forget, we lost 2 Cheltenham mids due to heavy ground. This is what we've got this afternoon. Perfect jumping ground. There's a piece on the inside, about 3 metres on the inside, that hasn't been raced on since the Gold Cup 12 months ago. So it'll be perfect jumping ground, and it's going to be cloudy but dry, so they won't be drying out as quick as it has been this week. Perfect jumping ground. Albert Photo then, 5-2 to make history, as you mentioned, and join those greats that Mark listed earlier: Best Mate, Arkle, Cottage Rake and Golden Miller. Aplutard, 7-2. Henry de Bromhead looking to add this to that champion chase and champion hurdle victories this week. And then Champ, last year's RSA winner, beat Allaho 12 months ago in that. He franked the form winning the Ryanair yesterday. 5-1 for Nicky Henderson for his 3rd winner of the week. Yes, I am still here. Manella Indo is at 8-1 as well. He too is just behind Champ 12 months ago in that contest. Santini beating the neck last year. He's at 11-1. 11-1. A neck behind Album Photo is your 5-2 favourite. It hasn't gone right for Santini this year, but we know he acts well at Cheltenham. And down there, Royal Pagaya.
Change of headgear for Santini, though.
Yes, there is indeed a change of headgear. He's gone with the cheap. He's got a visor on, hasn't he, this time? A visor. He worked in it last week. And Royal Pagaya, 14-1, coming up through the ranks from the handicap. Could have gone for the novice race earlier in the week. He's going
Lost
for
in Translation
gold.
was in the frame last year, Matt.
A Lost in Translation was 3rd last year. Again, it hasn't gone to plan for him. But better at Newbury. Ground could be important.
Let me chuck another story at you. We've all been talking about Rachel Blackmore all week. What about Bryony Frost? Frodon, look, won the King George. Won the King George well. Will love this ground.
Yeah, certainly. Frodon in here. Now, there's only 2 Grade 1s over 3 miles in Britain. The Gold Cup is one. The King George is the other. So you could argue, say, that's the best trial. 14-1 Frodon will go from the front, play catch me if you can, and on this decent ground, could be tough to pass. Will he see out that extra furlong up the hill? He has won at Cheltenham over 3 miles before. Never quite over this trip. That is the big question. But so impressive in the King George. 14-1. It's been ladies' week, hasn't it? Rachel Blackmore dominating. Can Bryony Frost get in on the act? 14-1. And we could be able to fairy tale here with Old Native River. Only Kato Star has regained a Gold Cup. He won it back in 2018. So impressive at Sandown last time out. The Tizzards have not had a great year, let's be honest. And Richard Johnson coming into the autumn of his career. What a fairy tale that would be. 14-1. Mark, wherever you look, there is a story to be written in this year's Well Child Cheltenham Gold Cup.
It is a very, very good Gold Cup. The last horse to go for the hat-trick, except for Best Mates, the last horse to go for the hat-trick and fail.
One.
L'Escargot in 1972. And ironically, L'Escargot stopped Red Rum doing the hat-trick of Grand Nationals. So there we are.
It's a proper Gold Cup, this. All 12 have got very serious credentials.
And
all right.
each wear 4 places.
You're
12 run a race, yet we each wear 4 places.
You're
well.
stretching the realms of imagination to suggest that something like a 10-year-old Black Up or indeed 11-year-old ASO, particularly with the stats against the older horses,
Could get in the frame.
You're absolutely right. And listen, you wouldn't rule that out, because we've seen a succession, particularly a few years ago when the likes of, and it's a higher class race nowadays, but the likes of Harbour Pilot and Truckers Tavern, slow old boats who used to plug round and finish 2nd and 3rd in Gold Cups and win massive prize money. Who knows what carnage there'll be out there today in bits and pieces of luck in running and misfortune indeed. So don't rule them out. But I think the exciting horses clustered towards the front of the market, and then the each-way angles. Not many of them you'd be frowning at if somebody said to you, I've just backed X, Y or Z, bringing in names like Santini, even Old Native River, Manella Indo, Kemboy, Frodon, Champ, loads of alternatives, and that's before you get to the real likely lads like a Plutar and, of course, Boum Photo. I guess the one negative, and I think Matt will agree with this, I just wonder if deep down, perhaps Venetia Williams and her team would have loved to run Royal Pagaya on Tuesday when there was a bit more moisture in the ground. All it's done is dry out.
Yeah, but
there's only one Gold Cup. I know what you're going to say. Absolutely right.
The weather forecast has not changed dramatically. The only change in the weather forecast was probably that unexpected rain on Sunday night, more than what was forecast. So the weather forecast has been the same all week long. So they always knew that Royal Pagaya would have its favoured ground in the National Hunt Chase on the Tuesday. They knew they'd be faster for the Gold Cup on the Friday. So why are they going for the Gold Cup then, if they knew the ground was against it?
Well, I think the clue's already been
Because
given away.
it was never going to run against Monkfish, was it?
There are a few more ambitious owners than Rich Ritchie, and there is only one Gold Cup. With great respect to the now 3 mile 6 National Hunt Chase, that's a
But
Cheltenham
we really
Festival
don't know
race.
how good Royal Pagaille is, do we?
Maybe we're about to find out. Based upon what he achieved galloping relentlessly around Haydock Park in February, Tommy Skew looked pretty exhilarated when he got off. This is another question entirely. They've had to be very, very patient with this horse. They've had to give him time to actually grow and mature, and now they're reaping the benefits. Whether or not this is a step too far, we'll find out. But listen, he's another lively each-way player in an electric and wide-open heat this year.
If you're interested, it's 3-0 to the punters, by the way. I mean, Mount Ida was really well back to the last. How did that win? Although I was absolutely delighted when it did, personally. And the Shunter won as well. But it's a game of opinions, isn't it? Watch this.
This Shunter, and these are the kind of proclamations that can come back to haunt you. I don't know what Matt thinks. I thought if I was a bookie going into Cheltenham, the one horse I would want to be against and get into Satchel was the Shunter. I know he's got a nice lightweight, 10 stone 12, -7 with the inexperienced rider. I know he's ultra consistent, and I know he's trained by the right man. I thought he went through a bruising battle to get his head in front the last day. He had 5 entries at the festival. Yes, it's a tip in itself that they've gone down this route, but even with the non-runners, he's got 20 other horses around him today. I don't think he'd be in the frame, Mark.
It's a game of opinions. Sorry to stitch you up, mate. It's a game of opinions.
Not at all. Listen, these things can come back to bite you, and what I saw in the Moor Battle Hurdle at Kelso when Squeaky Coley rode him 12 days ago was a horse who gave his absolute maximum. I thought he'd be stood with his head between his legs for a month, taking a breather after that, and would turn up in Cheltenham on a vanity trip. Not so. And I tell you what, Emmett Mullins, he is some boy. 18 times in his career, that young man, who, of course, don't forget, won as a jockey 11 years ago in Cheltenham. 18 times he's brought runners across the pond to England. 8 of them have delivered. And he's not just winning minor races, he's winning big prizes. He won the Greatwood with the same horse.
And the Shunter had gone, was it 18 runs not winning as well?
He won a graded race with Cape Gentleman the other day. They know what they're doing. And I tell you what, I mean, he's got entries on the flat this weekend in Dundalk. You see the way in which that boy can train anything. And he's barely even a man yet, Emmett Mullins. 44% strike rate in Britain. Incredible.
Obviously, Rachel Blackmore has been superb this week. I love how cool she is as well. But a quick word on Jordan Gameford, because the pressure was on that conditional with the Shunter and the bonus, and he was cool.
Well, we talked about this, you and I, live on this programme, the first 2 days of the meeting, that pressure would arrive for Jordan Gameford on Thursday, because, of course, that was a high-profile booking. You wouldn't have known it. He was like a seasoned campaigner, -7 What value he is for his claim. Looks like a superstar. He's born, not just on the way, he's absolutely born, because his composure, not only that, he spoke very well in the post-race interview live on television as well, having just gone through those exertions. So massive credit to him. He held it together, and he delivered on the big stage. So Jordan Gameford, well done him.
Yeah, and he's got a Petit Mouchoir today, which I think would have a chance in the county as well. So well done, Jordan Gameford. Yesterday, it's a game of opinions. He's also in Frontal Assault in the Martin Pipe. Gigginstown got a really good record in the Martin Pipe.
They have, and just to inject something else, this is pure rumour and speculation right now.
Oh, I love rumour and speculation, Tom.
Well, you won't
especially if it's from Ireland.
It is from Ireland.
Give me some rumour and speculation from Ireland.
There is a rumour, and it is only a rumour, please God it's not right, and she's fit and healthy and ready to go, but that Rachel Blackmore is at least being assessed by the medics for potential concussion. Off the back of, off some of the falls she's taken. So, listen, she looked absolutely fine at the end of yesterday, but who knows if there's something delayed going on. It is only rumour, and there's all sorts of nonsense
Tom, I don't want to hear rumours
social media.
I was hoping you were going to give me a rumour about one getting back, so I don't hear
but
rumours
if
like
we
that.
were to lose her later on, there is at least a suggestion that she needs to have a check over before riding today. So fingers crossed. She's been undisputably the star of the meeting, so let's hope that she's A1 fighting fit and ready to go for A Plus Tard later on, but we shall see.
Well, not just A Plus Tard. She'd have a real chance in the Triumph Hurdle. Look, the Triumph Hurdle, I think, is a cracking race this year. I would just be careful in the Triumph Hurdle. Just 3 favourites in the last 10 years. Defi de Soy was the last favourite to win. We've had a few turned over, of course. Goshen was really well talked about last year. Remember Apple Shakira a couple of years ago? Everyone was backing like that, like it could not get beat. But sometimes the slips do lie, don't they? Tom, how good is this Triumph? And when I had a look and saw Tritonic is Burlington Bertie 100 to 30, is that because basically all the British horses this year have to carry an extra £10? Is it true that they're thinking of having a 5th day at Cheltenham when only British horses are allowed to run? Is that true?
Well, with the Presbury Cup standing at 17-4...
Well, I don't care about the Presbury Cup, personally.
That's almost what's required right now. But listen...
But we've spoken about the Irish dominance. Now, this Zanna here, 5 to 4 for Sneezy Foster, Jack Kennedy on board. Now, one stat I think is very interesting. If you look at the Triumph... Since 2009, it's 0 from 19 for Triumph winners. Sorry, for Triumph runners if they've not had a run that year. So the stats are actually against Zanna here by not running in January or February.
Well, this is Zanna here.
0 from 19.
I hear you. It's 83 days since we've seen him. But what we have seen, the visual evidence, son of Nathaniel Zanna here, wearing a first-time tongue-tie today. You see the way he spread-eagled these at Leopardstown the last day in graded company. Before that, arguably the key run is at Fairyhouse, and they started him off at Ballinrobe. He's unbeaten in 3, as is his key market rival, Quilixios. Arguably, Mark, and this is... Now, Quilixios, we can see, cantering to the front. Look at the horse in second, and this is pivotal. That's St. Sam, who was second in the 4-year-old race on Tuesday. Yeah. And this is really important, because look at the margin of victory in this race between Quilixios and St. Sam. Zanna here beat the same St. Sam at Fairyhouse in the clip before the run that we showed, and he beat him 14 lengths. So if you use and no two races are alike, and the rhythm, the pace, the tempo of any different contest can't be exactly measured. Nonetheless, if you use St. Sam as the yardstick and the measuring post, you would say that Zanna here, on a line through St. Sam, would appear to be ahead of Quilixios, and that is borne out in the betting.
Matt, we'll talk about possible each-way selections later on. Just tell us, how do the first 3 in the betting look?
Look at this, you can see it's 16 to 1 bar, 5 to 4 Zanna here, who Tom says does have the form advantage over Quilixios through St. Sam, but Quilixios was 4 to 1 yesterday afternoon, but with all the Rachel Blackmore, all of the horses have been back today. He's at 9 to 4, and Tritonic 130 on the drift. And I think you're right, basically because he's trained in Britain, but Alan King has a good record with his juveniles, and 130 is looking a very big price. But don't listen to us, let's hear from the man who knows Tritonic best. That is his trainer, the master of Barbary Castle, Alan King.
Yeah, obviously heading for the Triumph Hurdle. He was very impressive at Kempton at the weekend. We were thrilled with that, and he's come out of it in good order. Counted this morning. I don't really have to do a lot with him between now and then. We'll just tick away, a couple of little breezes and probably 2 schools, and hope we can get him there in good form.
He looked terrific the other day at Kempton.
He did. That was what we wanted to see, and he'll have learned plenty from that again, you know.
This is the Adonis. This is impressive as well. And what you've got to remember, Matt, how many fences are in the final, is it a couple of furlongs?
Yeah, well, there's 2 flights in the last 7 furlongs, because I said I wasn't really happy with his jumping, especially the 2 on the back straight at Kempton.
So you've got to be quick to win the Triumph.
You do have to be quick to win the Triumph, but look at the distance he puts between himself and the second. The second has been beaten since, admittedly, in strange circumstances, the jockey lost his irons, but he put more ground between the second. He beat him by a length at Ascot, he beat him by 9 there, and he quickened up really well off the back of the last
I won't
flight.
be the only person right now who has been sweet on Tritonic for ages on the well, since that run for the Triumph Hurdle, and I've been keen on Tritonic all week, but last night I look at the betting and I start thinking, well, hang on, what's going on here? Or should I be thinking, wow, I never expected a price like that for Tritonic?
None of this is scientific, Mark. When you look at the 2 horses we've seen already, Zanna here and Quilixios, they've only done their winning on soft and heavy ground. When you look at Tritonic, it's all very well winning by 100 lengths at Kempton Park on a track which, lest we forget, could you get any more different from Cheltenham?
No.
Cheltenham's left-handed, super testing, undulating. Kempton, by contrast, is frying pan flat, right-handed speed test. So you literally can't get a bigger disparity.
But
you
said it though. speed test, and the Triumph is always a speed test.
Even so, well, I'm just going to graduate from that and say that Alan King was purring after the clip we just saw. He's won the Triumph twice down the years. 2005 Penzance, 2007 Catch It.
And Catch It went on to win the Champion Hurdle.
And don't forget, of course...
Look, Alan King knows what he's doing with juveniles.
Penzance used that route, and this is a real key thing as well, something that stuck in my mind after Kempton. He said this would be the best flat horse, the highest rated flat horse that I've graduated to hurdling. He was rated 99 on the flat. He's no slouch, this lad. If it turns into a sprint, you'd like to believe that if that jumping holds up that Matt highlighted, which I didn't have a big issue with, incidentally, but some people are very fussy eaters around here. Tritonic, not good enough for Matt. I like the way he jumped. I love the way he pulled clear. Even at the prices, yeah, look, maybe there's additional value there. 100 to 30 will do very nicely for me.
Well, let's just quickly make out that it's not just a three-horse race. I mean, obviously, you could get one at a big price in the frame as well.
Well, listen, we're doing a huge disservice here because we've got Adagio for David Pipe,
that's what I want to talk about.
Who's a Grade 1 winner, for heaven's sake. He won the finale in Chepstow, albeit on different ground, but he's a course winner at Cheltenham. He was also runner-up at Cheltenham, and he's won a race at Warwick this season, so he is no mug and not to be underestimated.
Adagio, trained by David Pipe. Let's hear from him.
Yeah, I mean, he looks to be our main hope at the meeting. He's in good form. Hasn't done much wrong this season so far. One of the best English, if not the best English contenders in the race. We've got the Irish to beat, but he's been around Cheltenham. He handles any type of ground. He jumps, he stays. So I wouldn't mind riding him.
Has he surprised you?
He surprised me last time at Chepstow because then he proved in that race that he was a genuine Triumph hurdle contender. Is obviously his best performance to date, and when he's hit the front, he's idled and won with a bit in hand.
But clearly, you claimed him from overseas and you didn't quite know what you were getting because they sometimes just don't take to it, do they?
No, that's right. He came over as a colt and he was quite a character. So Gelding's definitely been the making of him, and I think he hopefully is still improving.
And Triumphs aren't like they used to be. It may not even be a maximum field, but it used to be full of the 100 to 1 shot. You had to get by if you were out the back.
That's right. Now you've got the Boodles or the Fred Winter, the Triumph, the outlook of the race has changed a bit. It looks set to be a cracking race.
Still love David Pipe. Adagio, this is Cheltenham, Tom.
Yes, indeed. He's proved himself a very slick and efficient and economical hurdle, this little fella. There's not too much of him, but he can definitely do the job. 3 wins already over hurdles, and indeed, that's in 4 runs, and the other one was a place at Cheltenham, so he knows his way around here. He's got double the experience of Tritonic, and he's tough and hardy, and as David Pipe has said there, quite obviously, he's their main hope at a meeting, and that's from a powerful team who historically have done at least OK at the Cheltenham Festival with a number of winners down the years, so they know what it takes. Do not discount him.
Well, if you're still searching for a winner this week, bang in form has been Tanya Stevenson. She gave us a 33 to 1 winner for the Coral Cup with Heaven Help Us. Let's get Tanya's thoughts on the Triumph.
Well, Alan King has won the Triumph Hurdle twice already. His most recent victory was with Catch It in 2007, who then went on to win the Champion Hurdle. He may have something similar this year. Rewind back to the Adonis Hurdle, and we saw an emphatic victory for Tritonic, 10 lengths no less. That was really impressive. That race in itself is a good guide for Triumph Hurdle winners. In fact, since 1994, 18 winners, I should say, have gone on to run in the Triumph Hurdle. 5 have won. Looking closer at that race and the makeup of Tritonic itself, I think this could be win number 6 to come out of that Adonis Hurdle. This is a really impressive horse. He's my selection for the Triumph, Tritonic.
You know what? I'm going to stick with Tritonic. I think Zanier is too short. Quixilios, I think, really like the look of, but I'm sticking with Tritonic. Matt, what about yourself?
I'm going to go with the favourite, Zanahir. So impressive in 3 starts. I know he's got that stat to defy, but when I heard from Jamie Codd after the Dublin Races Festival, he said we're going to be hearing a lot more. He's not your typical juvenile. He thinks he can win this one and go on to much better things in the next few years as well.
And if you'd followed Matt this festival, you would be in profit as well. just. Tom?
If you'd followed Willie Mullins, you'd be in profit. And don't forget, he's got 2 runners, Tax for Max and Autant Couleur. I hope we're not just completely glossing over them and aren't made to pay to regret it. Even so, I agree with what you said, Mark. Tritonic for me.
Matt, got any questions? Not if you win a few quid today, you can buy some jackets that actually fit you.
Yeah, I've got one from Anna in Cheshire, actually. He says he's a lovely lad, stop picking on him, and he's a machine, so there you go. Thanks, babe. I've got a couple of questions.
It's a bit early for that.
I'm going to go back to the Gold Cup first, Tom. It's kind of something I touched on before. Could it be a fairy tale ending? I'll say ending, we're probably talking a little bit premature. Your friend Richard Johnson, Colin Tizard's had such a bad year. Could they have a fairy tale story with Native River this afternoon?
Look, we all know Richard Johnson is going towards the autumn of his career. We all know that, don't we? There's no official announcement or anything like that, but we all know he's going towards the autumn of his career. And Colin Tizard, they've had such a tough year. Off the track, obviously. Awful year for them. And his son's going to take over the training licence.
Yeah, Joe's going to take over the licence. It would give a lot of people massive satisfaction to see Native River roll back the years. And on form, he's not out of it.
Well, how well the front runner's done at this festival. And he will bound out in front.
Listen, he's some leper as well. Once he gets on a roll, he's very hard to peg back. Even so, bare stats, discouraging to say the least. 20 times in 21 years, the winner of the Cheltenham Gold Cup, aged 7, 8 or 9. The old boy Native River is now 11, so you're talking a freak year for an 11-year-old to be winning a Gold Cup. Hasn't happened for a long time. Sadly, as much as sentiment says yes, please, it's deeply unlikely.
Give us one more question, please, Matt.
Yeah, we just talked about David Pipe. We just heard from him, of course. Tom, I've got someone asking. It's bizarre he's never actually won his dad's race. Incredibly, Gordon Elliott, who obviously started his career at Martin Pipe, has harvested this race, but David Pipe's never won it. He's got 3 chances today. Do you fancy any of those?
Listen, he keeps trying and he keeps throwing plenty of solid ammunition. It will happen one of the days. Again, it's wide open. It's hard today. And he already said, the clue was, if you were watching a few moments ago, he said his main chance at a meeting, he didn't nominate that race. He did put forward Adagio. I think that's the clue in itself.
Right, let's move on to the 155, which is the county hurdle. We are 6 places each way on the county hurdle. 6 places each way. Have you got the bets in, please, big man?
6 places, you may just need them because this looks a lottery. Well, if you take out the British runners, I suppose it shortens the field, doesn't it? Ganapathy is 11-2 favourite, very likely race for William Mullins and Paul Tannen, ran in Grade 1 at the Dublin Racing Festival in those Donnelly Silks. So had Shishkin win, they will be carried by Boum Photo later on. You Raise Me Up's been a gamble as well. Martin Brazel, these silks were carried to victory in the Ballymore a couple of years ago. He's been backed into 6-1, a winner when we last saw him as well. Champagne Gold, Rachel Blackmore on board, 13-2, been good support for that one with her dominating. 3rd time lucky now, he was going to go for the Supreme. The Skeletons, who've got a really good record in this race, have chosen to send him here. That could be a tip in itself, 8-1. Eclair de Beaufort, who ran really well at last year's festival in the Grand Annual, 17-2. And 50 Ball, being in the Betfair hurdle form, second in that race, is at 14-1. It's a wide open renewal, as always, the county hurdle, Mark, and we're 6 places each way.
All right, let's have a look at some of them. So this is Ganapathy, trained by Willie Mullins. Talk about this form, please, Tom.
Yeah, he's a fascinating horse. They started him off at Cork, where he won on heavy ground. Immediately, Willie Mullins saw fit to up him into Grade 2 company on this day, on heavy ground, in a small field. 7 runners at Punchestown, mid-January, and yet, actually, he came there swinging, and you think, well, how far is he going to win? Look at the horse in blue on the outside. Big price outsider, trained up north by Rona McNally, comes and nabs him, the real deal, who's been a bit of a winning machine. Ganapathy finishes ahead of everything else, not good enough, but it was only his 2nd try in Ireland, and after that, Mullins, even more ambitious, ran him in a race that was won by Gaillard du Mesnil in a Grade 1 at the Dublin Racing Festival. So he's been highly tried. Now he goes into a handicap off 140.
This is 3rd time look. No, this is Drop the Anchor, isn't it? Champagne Gold.
I was going to say that looks very much to me like also the Dublin Racing Festival.
It is, Tom.
Drop the Anchor beating Champagne Gold and Sandaroo in a big field. This was a fiercely competitive 22-runner handicap. The problem is for the front 2 here, respect to both of them, the handicap has gone a bit crazy. He put Drop the Anchor up £15 for that. Also a big raise for the 2nd horse, Champagne Gold. They've both obviously going to be stood in good stead by that big field handicap
Let's now
experience.
see
Harder
third
today.
time lucky. Matt mentioned it. Skelton's have got a great record in this race. 3 times in the last 5 years. This is Kempton on Boxing Day.
Yeah, this is a fascinating horse, third time lucky, because...
And let's be honest, the Skelton's horses are running well.
Yeah, this was a novice
They hit
hurdle.
the crossbar.
This was a novice hurdle at Kempton.
Well.
There were only 6 of them. But what I really like about third time lucky, he's only had the 5 tries over hurdles, 3 of them including this one where he shows really good speed victories. And furthermore, you can probably put a bit of a line through his attempt at Musselburgh the last day. Why? Well, the reason being he sprawled at the final flight. That choked him out of his chance, if you will. He might, but for that, have been 4 out of 5 over hurdles, and he's got the all-important course form, 4th in the bumper 12 months ago.
Now, this is nice, and at about 2 o'clock this afternoon, I will be singing You Raise Me Up So I Can Stand on Mountains, You Raise Me Up to Walk on Stormy Seas, because this is the winner, Tom.
Well, I tell you what, not completely impossible. Martin Brassel turned up a few years ago with City Island and won the Ballymore, and now he's got this You Raise Me Up, the 8-year-old by Presenting, who shows a brilliant attitude here over 2 mile 3 at Naas. Goes into a rather different assignment this afternoon with a marker 141, but that equates to a lovely racing weight of 10 stone 12 for a stable that have had a winner at this meeting in recent history, so wide open as ever you would anticipate, but loads of plausible contenders in those clips.
So hopefully it'll be raising the bank balance. For me, You Raise Me Up, my selection. Tom?
I think the penultimate clip, third time lucky, who, as I mentioned just in dispatches there, he's been placed in the bumper previously. He's been slick and prolific over hurdles and was unlucky at Musselburgh.
And Matt, you've got an interesting angle on this race from your mate, Jamie Codd.
Yeah, well, he quite likes Ganapathy here at 11-2, but he also gave a mention to Petit Mouchoir, of course, who is a Grade 1 winner. He's been running in Grade 1 races all season. He loves to bounce off good ground. 5 of his last 6 wins, 5 of his 6 wins have come with good in the going description. He had a spin recently as well at Gowran Pod behind Jason the Militant, who was champion hurdle bound, and he's in there. Look at that, 28-1, and look at the man on board. Jordan Gameford, paying £7.
6 places each way.
Exactly, 6 places each way, and I quite like another one, Milkwood, 25-1. He'll love to hear his hooves rattle. He was a good 5th in a really good Welsh champion hurdle. Disappointed last time out, but he did make a mistake, and I think he's overpriced. Robbie Dunn's had a really good week after having a week off last week. But you mentioned third time lucky, Tom. I know another somebody else who quite likes third time lucky as well, and that is another pundit of Betfred this week, Joel Ross. This is what he thinks. He thinks the Skeltons can win a 4th county hurdle.
If you can win the same race 3 times in 5 years, you're doing something right, and that's what Dan Skelton is definitely doing, and he loves this race. It's the county hurdle, ridden by Harry Skelton, and we're talking third time lucky. Looks like it's been laid out for this race. I'm not sure exactly what happened at Musselburgh last time. However, the key stat is the bigger the field, the better the horse goes. Loves a big field, loves a strong pace, has been laid out for this race. And if you watch any of those races back, like I have been doing this morning, you will see that third time lucky is so much better than a handicap. I think this is a cracking bet in the county hurdle this year. It's going to be 4 from 6 for Dan and Harry Skelton. Third time lucky is my tip.
And Joel Ross is back at 6 o'clock tonight with his unique take on the day's racing. And Matt, it is a unique take from Joel Ross, but it does make me laugh.
It is, and you just never know what's coming next. He baffles me when he asks me a question. I have no idea where he's going. He's off on tangents.
Well, I thought the best question he asked you is whether you are actually ginger. Or you're strawberry blonde.
Do you know what? He's coming from a natural ginger as well. He is naturally ginger. Cheeky sod. Right, yeah, some questions.
What's wrong with being ginger, anyway?
Exactly, nothing at all. I've lost my train of thought. Tom, I've got a punter asking...
I've just got a question from Sam Twiston Davis here to Matt. What's wrong with being ginger?
Hope he has a good spin on Gall Road as well. Another one with a chance today, Sam, in the county hurdle.
Not if he's on a British horse.
Say again?
Not if you're on a British horse. It's like
That's
carrying
true,
£10 extra.
Jug of the County, we just saw that clip there, and someone's asking why, Tom, Champagne Gold is like a third of the price, or this Drop the Anchor is 3 times the price of Champagne Gold, even though he's beaten him. How can that be? Well, obviously, I think Rachel Blackmore factor comes into it at some point, doesn't it?
I was about to say, look who's on board the horse who's been backed. I think that tells 90% of the story. Anything she's riding at the moment, you have to be attracted to. I mean, horses just gallop for her. That's the long and the short of it. Also, don't forget that the handicapper went a little bit crazy, dropped the anchor coming fast and late, plus 15. And, of course, there was a claim factored in there as well. So it's going to be a lot harder for Pat Fahey's horse today. And furthermore, of course, just rewinding there, the Blackmore factor cannot be underestimated at any point, especially not this week.
She is cool, isn't she? I know she's on good horses, but she is cool. I mean, look at that Ryanair ride yesterday.
Absolutely, speaks for itself. I think when you hear Sir Anthony McCoy, when you hear Ruby Walsh, absolutely.
Ruby Walsh is excellent at ITV racing.
He is, and actually...
I'm not saying McCoy isn't, by the way. I love McCoy. And hopefully Champ will win the Gold Cup this afternoon. But Ruby Walsh has been particularly good on ITV this week.
I would agree with that. But listen, really, if we're getting into praise about jockeys, ex or current, it's all about Rachel. Brilliant.
Right, let's move to the Albert Bartlett. The 2:30 is the Albert Bartlett. We have 4 places on this race as well. Matt, talk us through the Albert Bartlett, please.
I will do, yeah. 3 miles for novice hurdlers at this one. Future staying chasers lining up here with 4 places each way, and Denise Foster got a good handle on this one. She's got a couple of tours ahead of the market for Kira, who was 4th in Dublin Racing Festivals at 9-2, and also the hat-trick seeking Torygraph at 13-2. And look, the Irish domination continues. Statler, who was just ahead of Fakira in Leopardstown, 9-2 for Willie Mullins, and Streets of Doyen, whose form was franked yesterday, gamble of the race at 6-1. But do you remember Big Bucks?
What? Streets of Doyen 6-1. It was about 20-1, wasn't it?
Well, that's the thing, but the form has come to the fore this week.
I know with Florian Porter, but it was about 20-1, wasn't it, before the stayers?
John McConnell had a gamble yesterday that go another one who travelled really well, just got tied in the closing stages. But I'm going to carry on. Remember Big Bucks?
So I can't believe it's 6-1. Sorry to interrupt, Matt. I can't believe it's 6-1. No, I fancied it with the drying ground and obviously the form with Florian Porter, but 20-1 to 6-1. It's Cheltenham.
It's a gamble. It's a gamble. I'd say all of Rachel Blackmore's horses have been backed as well today. But just to go carry on, if I can, Big Bucks. Remember Big Bucks, 4-time stayers hurdler? Very closely related to Barbados Bucks. I know Paul Nicholls, although he mentioned Brave Man's Game was his best chance of the week, he's kept this one to good ground all throughout the winter. He's been running at Southwell and at Kempton, and he's been impressive. He's had 3 wins, and I know he's got a big chance, and he is quietly fancied as well this afternoon.
Sorry for interrupting you, big man. Shall we hear from Tanya? She's got some thoughts on this race, and she's been banging form, hasn't she? Heaven help us. Why didn't we listen to that? She was so sweet on it as well. 33-1 in the Coral Cup. But here's Tanya's thoughts on the Albert Bartlett.
The Albert Bartlett Novices Hurdle is a really tough race, one that you have to roll up your sleeves, really grab it, have determination and grit, go out and win the race. Adramal has all of those credentials and qualities. He's only had 3 starts over hurdles, and on the 3rd start won the Leamington Hurdle at Warwick. That's a Grade 2 race. Now, previous winners include Willoughby Court, the new one, and Ingles Drever. You can't get no better recommendation than that trio. Adramal, well, he was out in front from the start, bustled along by Richard Johnson, showing just how tough he is. He's just the type of horse to progress even further and get across that line in front.
There's Tanya's thoughts on the Albert Bartlett. Do you know what? I did fancy a Street to Doyen. I'm not sure at 6-1.
There's no pleasing some people, is there? You'd be moaning if he was drifting. If he was 6-1 out to 20s, you'd be saying, oh, he's obviously got no chance. There's something wrong with him. If the creature's after being backed from double-figure prices into 6-1, and now you're moaning the price is too short. Make your mind up, man.
Well, to be honest, I think it's a really, really, really tough Albert Bartlett. 9-2 the field with 4 places each way. I'm going to have to go on away and have a think about the Albert Bartlett, to be honest, Tom.
Gonna have a lie down.
That's the beauty of, racing doesn't start till 1:20. I'm going to go and put my lucky 15 bets on very, very shortly. I'm going to go and have a think about the Albert Bartlett. Is that all right?
I'll give you a free pass on this occasion. In the meantime, I'm going to back Streets of Doyen, who, irrespective of his price, is a course winner off the back of a string of absolutely outstanding efforts. And I think the money's only a compliment to his chances. I'm not spooked by that in the slightest. Matt?
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah, the more money, the better it is, more confidence. You know what? I'm going to take a flyer. It's been an up and down way. I'm going to take an absolute flyer here. Keep going, boys. Keep going. All the way down to the bottom. Who do we like when you talk about staying hurdlers? We mentioned it yesterday. Rebecca Curtis. Pat's Fancy, where are we?
We all like Rebecca Curtis, yes.
Exactly. Come down a bit, gents. Come on. Rebecca Curtis. No, other way. Here we are. Pat's Fancy. Look who
I thought you meant Beat the Bullet, 150 to 1.
Well, that's a little bit fancy. Look who she's booked. Rachel Blackmore here. 33 to 1. Second over the course and distance in December. Was beaten by a John McConnell horse who trained Streets of Doyen. Pulled up at Doncaster. Bizarrely, all the leading contenders who ran at the Doncaster race were pulled up. It was a bizarre race. Won by the Cobb, who has been supplemented for this at 33 to 1. But Pat's Fancy, second at the track, just looks an out-and-out stayer. Double carpet, 33 to 1 with Rachel Blackmore on board. I just thought, look, 4 places, why not throw a dart each way at that? Because when it comes to staying hurdlers, Lisnagar Oscar, at Fisher's Cross, Rebecca Curtis knows the time of day. Speculative, but it's Cheltenham.
Good news, Ligna Oscar is absolutely fine after that fall in the stairs. Matt, give us another question.
I will get one up for you. Oh, it's Gold Cup day, isn't it? And the simple question is...
Well done.
Thank you. And somebody asks, Tom, we'll go with you this time. Who is the greatest ever Gold Cup horse?
Oh.
Well, this is a bit biased and I'm not sure objective in any way, shape or form, but clearly Sizing John, since he completed one of my greatest ever gambling days.
There's nothing wrong with broadcasting from a wallet, Tom.
Exactly right. Pass.
Look.
Best mate, maybe.
Mine would be probably Dawn Run in 86.
Yeah.
I've always liked John Joe, and that was, it was very, very, very special performance, wasn't it, from that mare? Now, John Joe's connected to my other one, and that would be Synchronised, because I love AP McCoy as well. And if you watch that race back, Synchronised is beat on about 8 occasions, and McCoy stalks him up again. And also, I think it won 8 to 1, and the Betfred crowd who were sponsoring that day were all on at 20s. So
he was, that's right.
Sponsors are not supposed to jump up and down in the winners' enclosure, are they?
That's absolutely, don't mind that. 8 to 1, and he'd won the Lexus the day before, of course, at Leopardstown.
Won the Betfred Midlands Grand National as well, Synchronised.
Good knowledge.
Yeah. So it's Synchronised for me. But yeah, look, the Corto Star Denman fights were incredible. Recently, I mean, Cornigree, what a performance that was. Native River. And look, Boum Photo, we're talking about a hat-trick, which has only been done by the likes of Golden Miller 5 times pre-war, Arkle, Cottage Rake, Best Mate.
Yeah,
I think how many horses have come back and not even defended their crown?
To be fair...
And Boum Photo's going for the hat-trick.
If we can loosely call it the Nichols era, that was very special, wasn't it? When you think that Corto, the public following he had, winning that race, winning the Betfair Chase and turning up in Kempton Park as well. That was almost a cult following. And, of course, the Tank Denman...
Yeah, well, then, Best Mate. I mean, all right, I don't back on its own chances. 8 to 11 when
we've now managed to mention about 150 Gold Cup winners without really giving a firm answer. I'm going to go Best Mate. That was my first answer, alongside Sizing John, which was a bit of a cheat sheet. But Best Mate, to win it and be minded like he was 3 years in a row by Henrietta Knight, Jim Carlotti, the partnership, wonderful.
Unbelievable. Very similar to Boum Photo, have a way looked after it.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Let's try and make that comparison again at 3:15 today and see if he's got 3 in the locker as well.
Well, I'm going Dawn Run and Synchronised, and then hopefully the champ will win today as well. Matt?
Yeah, no one's mentioned Desert Orchid. Got me into the game. Wrong way round, heavy ground, beat a Mudlark in Yahoo and a former Gold Cup winning Charter Party. What a performance that was. Do you know what? I'm going to save that question. I'm going to ask Fred the same thing later because it instills some real good debate.
No one's mentioned Norton's Coin. That'd have been nice, wouldn't it?
100 to 1.
100 to 1, yeah.
I think Rupert Bell actually backed.
Wow, we'll hear from Rupert Bell a little later as well. Right then, keep saying it, Boum Photo going for history, joining the likes of Gordon Miller, that won it 5 times, Cottage Rake, Arkle, and Best Mate, that won it 3 times. Going for the hat-trick, Boum Photo. Let's hear from Boum Photo's trainer. It is Willie Mullins.
He's in great shape. Worked well last week. He has a big bit of work coming up this week. You know, he's uncomplicated. He's very nice to train. Little did I think when we were buying him that we would be in this position, or indeed the day that he ran out in Punchestown, or even he had the mishap with Ruby jumping the last in Cheltenham. He's funny back history, but here he is, a double Gold Cup winner, going for his third Gold Cup.
This is last year. This is doing the double. Willie Mullins had never won the Cheltenham Gold Cup, and then last year he came back and defended his crown. Tom, talk us through last year's race.
Well, it got tactical and it wasn't flashy, but I think the really wonderful thing about Boum Photo, he can do the smooth, stylish stuff, but he can do the gritty, dirty work as well. And you see a wall of good horses here. Lost in Translation, the yellow colours, Santini flashing late, and yet he's tough, he's obdurate, he's grinding, he's finding, he's brave. He's awful brave, this horse. And of course, lightly raced, plenty of juice in the tank. Gonna need it because this is wide open and very, very tough today. Separately is his highly unconventional but deeply effective.
This is a race course gallop, isn't it?
It is, but just quickly, some people weren't impressed with this because he looked like he's made hard work. And Acapella Bourgeois stopped to nothing, but look, like you say, he ended up winning it by 19 lengths.
No, listen, I disagree with that because that's to do a disservice to.
And what's the distance of this race?
2 mile 5. 2 mile 5 on a.
So it's a pipe opener.
It's a pipe opener. It's a pipe opener in an extremely valuable race, a track where in a normal year they'd fill the place to Tremor to see a superstar like Boum Photo. And let's not forget that
it's not a normal year.
That's the first and only time he'd graced a racecourse for 9 months. So to get him round in one piece, of course he's going to come on and improve from that. But that's the entire objective of the exercise. I thought that was a more than adequate preparation.
If we just go back to Matt with the betting. We saw Santini there, finishing really well. We know Santini stays, etc. Change of headgear today. So, 4 places each way. Would you rather back Santini each way or Boum Photo to win, Matt?
Yeah, that logic I can totally accept. 11-1 Santini, 4 places each way as well.
But I suppose we all want to back the winner of the Blue Ribbon event, don't we?
Well, it depends which way you're looking at it. You're looking at it financially. I just want history to be made. I want these stories to be about Boum Photo tomorrow. I would love to see him in the winner's enclosure.
So you would rather have history than financial benefit?
No, because I've backed Boum Photo as well.
All right. Well, then you're lying then, aren't you?
So yeah, look, he's in it, but he beat Santini last year. He beat Lost in Translation last year. But there are some new kids on the block. Let's have a look at A Plus Tard then. What a week it has been for this pair, Rachel Blackmore
and if A Plus Tard can do it, be the first trainer to win the Champion Hurdle, the Champion Chase and the Gold Cup in the same year. And Rachel Blackmore, what a festival she is having.
Right, Tom, he won over 2 miles. He also beat Shaq and Pessoa over 2 miles. He's won here over 2.5 as well, beating the Ryanair last year. Now, he stays on really strongly here. It looks like he's staying on strongly, but Ken Boy went out from the front. Mellon, we know, isn't the strongest to stay. Did he just outstay a couple of horses who were wilting?
Honestly, we don't yet know because he's neither proven nor disproven his stamina. Bear in mind, his prep race for the Savills was over 2 miles at Navan, as you say, behind Castle Grace Paddy. He did or didn't stay in a very strongly run Ryanair at the festival last year, or is he just a stronger, harder, more developed, more physically able horse now? Bear in mind, he's still only a 7-year-old at Plus Tard. Is this a year too early for him? We know that Gold Cup winners are typically 7, 8 or 9 years of age. He might be a Gold Cup winner, but it might be in 2022 or 23. With Rachel on board, discount nothing. He's got the track form. He's got the encouraging stamina indicator there over the 3 miles, but a hard run 3 mile 2 round Cheltenham. If there's any even slight kink in that armoury, it will be exposed and brutally found out today. When you work through these, I think this is the crucial point about this year's race. Go through all of the key contenders, whether it's recent form, whether it's ground for Royal Pagaille, whether it's the potential for a stamina deficit for a Plus Tard, whether it's jumping for Champ.
Let's see Champ. This is Newbury. Now, why does this get slagged off? I mean, basically, because of the weather, there's been a lack of options, haven't they? So they decide to go to the Game Spirit instead.
Mark, don't forget, they could have run him in the Denman Chase on the same card, but only a total moron would suggest this was a bad idea. To get the horse's eye in after a long layoff and to get him jumping slick and to actually drop him down in trip so he has a less hard race and he keeps a real proven 2-miler with loads of speed, honest, all the way to the line.
And they'll go a real rattle
He was unlucky
in the Gold Cup today as well.
He was unlucky on Wednesday, so Real as well, so that form looks good. My worry is, when the gun was put to Champ's head on that occasion, he made his only mistake. He cantered through the race. When the gun was put to his head, he made a mistake.
Right, I'm going to make the case for Champ, right? One, whatever it's called, a Brown Advisory, but it was the RSA last year.
Yeah.
The RSA is obviously a cracking trial for this. Look at Lord Windermere, other horses as well. And we talk about Irish and British trained. All right, Ireland are dominating, what is it, 17-4, right? Nicky Henderson has had 2 of those. Now, after Willie Mullins, who's the best trainer at Cheltenham? Nicky Henderson. His horses, all right, Altio got pulled out, but clearly Shishkin, Chantry House, look, he managed to get top notch at 500 to 1 in the frame yesterday, didn't he? Clearly Nicky Henderson's horses are running very well, and there's no better trainer to get one ready for Cheltenham than Nicky Henderson.
I hear you, and that's the beauty of a wide open Gold Cup, but I revert to the previous point, whether it's stamina, ground, form or jumping, where this lad's concerned, respect the point that Matt just made, all of them, with one exception, and you can go through these. I know people are almost spitting out their cornflakes now saying, well, what's the problem with this fella? What's Native River? Age. Manila Indo fell 2 runs ago. Lost in translation, struggling for form. Kenboy, in and out, becoming really difficult to catch right on the last day. Very good the last day we saw him, but has a habit of being beaten by a number of these. Champ jumping, Frodon stamina at this trip in a hard run race.
This is only your opinion, Tom.
Absolutely
obviously,
right.
we
and
want
that's
to hear.
the beauty
right,
of
let's
it.
see roll per guy next. Now, I think this is an interesting one, especially with each way 4 places. Now, everyone has said, oh yeah, grounds come against roll per guy, but when they declared it for the Gold Cup on Sunday, no one expected that rain on Sunday night, and the weather forecast has been spot on. So they knew the ground was going to be like this by Friday. In fact, they probably thought the ground might even be faster by Friday.
Well, they wouldn't know.
So why are they going for the Gold Cup and not the National Hunt Chase?
But they wouldn't have known how soft it was going to be on the Tuesday with that rain, and that's when they had to declare. That's the other side of it. But you're right. They knew it would have been the quickest of the week on Friday, regardless whether that rain fell or not.
Phoenicia Williams, when it's bottomless, her horses are superb, aren't they?
Naturally, but she's got form. You know, she can train good ground as well.
So why could... All right, I'd maybe want a bit of a bigger price for roll per guy. I think
How
it's
much
an
do
each
you
way
want?
bet.
He's 14 to 1.
Well, I thought it'd be bigger, to be honest.
He's not happy when they're backed. He's not happy when they drift.
Well, no, it's a game of opinions, as we keep saying, isn't it? Right, so that's roll per guy. All right, Haydock probably didn't beat much.
Well, he beat Potter's Legend, who's an 11-year-old, albeit he was giving him a stone and a half,
okay,
and he won ease down in a hack canter. Look, he's unbeaten over fences. He's 3 from 3.
They're going to fly off, aren't they? Frodon and Native River fly off, hell of a pace, could run them all out. Roll per guy, a bit like Don Poli, was it? No, it was Don Cossack, wasn't it? Just, you know, strolling like it was Sunday afternoon, and then Don Cossack will come round like roll per guy and take it, possibly.
Rule out nothing.
Sorry, Don Poli's even slower than Don Cossack.
Slowly.
Yeah.
Rule out nothing this year. This is a wide open and really high-class race. But the one with the least question marks against him is obviously the favourite. This is a long-term and perfectly executed plan, 2 years running.
Right. We've got to talk about other horses. It's a Gold Cup, Tom. Frodon. This is a King George winner, Matt.
It is.
And we've been talking about Rachel Blackmore all week. What about Bryony Frost?
Well, that's the thing, is it has been a ladies' week for sure. Honeysuckle, Rachel Blackmore put the kettle on. Bryony Frost trying to get in on the act, 16 to 1. Gets on so well with this horse. 6 times a winner at Cheltenham. Rule it out at your peril. Let's hear it from the man in charge then, Paul Nicholls, who rates a great each-way chance.
You know, often on the last day, the ground's decent, which will suit him. You know, he's the sort of horse no one would expect him to win the Gold Cup, but if he did, I wouldn't be surprised. He's that sort of horse, you know, keeps surprising people. No one ever expected him to win a King George, but you actually watch a replay, he won very cosily on probably the wrong way round. So he's in good shape. Whatever he does, you know he's going to give a good account of himself.
And been a very quiet Cheltenham Festival, but he said it'd be a quiet Cheltenham Festival going into this because he's aiming so many at Aintree. Look, this is probably the best trial. Do you know what? I think we should actually make it that you can only run in a Gold Cup if you've run in the King George or the Betfair or the Lexus or the Savills or whatever it's called.
So you like the favourite run?
Is it the best trial? I mean, what does he beat in reality? He beats a Staying On Waiting Patiently, Clandis Oboe, Santini's back in 5th, Black Ops even further back.
But it's the King George.
And lost in translation. I think he bled that day, didn't he? And he wasn't a factor. So you work through it. Yes, it's the King George, wildly different. Let's focus on his course form. 6 course wins. Loves Cheltenham, has won over 3 miles plus there. But we still have to find out. It's neither proven nor disproven. When it really gets into the heat of the battle over the extended 3 1/4, can he still do it then up the hill?
Right, let's just talk about one more. But like I said, something at a big price will get in the frame. We have 4 places each way. We have got the 2018 champion here in Native River. Let's hear from Joe Tizard.
It's not that we wouldn't have liked to run it more often. That is just how it's been. And off the back of that, he does stay particularly fresh. But, you know, there's horses that he's taken on over the last few years that haven't bounced back from meeting Native River. And I think that's testament to the horse, you know. Although he wears blinkers, it's not because that's just to focus his mind. The rest of it, he's just a very genuine, tough horse.
And the Tizards have had such an awful year. It would be fantastic for them if they could do it.
Oh, Mark,
it
would be mighty. It'd be, with absolute respect to everything that's gone before, with all the brilliant stories we've had, that would be one of the all-time greats. If you want to be dispassionate and just talk about a horse race in its bare essence, an 11-year-old on drying ground like Native River, no.
But front runners have had a good record this week. Right, selection time.
There's only one, Boum Photo for the 3.
No, not going to do the hat trick. I'm going to go Champ. Matt?
Champ will keep the fence builders busy, that's for sure. If he wins a Gold Cup, he'll have half of the Cheltenham birch in his backside as well.
All right.
Boum Photo for me as well. We're racing fans, we love racing, we want history to be made. Boum Photo for the hat trick. Just a quick question as well. We
don't want history to be made, we want to be financially rewarded.
Or back it as well, you can celebrate twice. We just touched on it, can Bryony Frost land a blow for the girls and win a Gold Cup? That's a question they've got into. We have just touched on it, but can she do it?
I think Frodden's an each-way bet, Tom. We've got to be quick.
I agree with what's just been said. At 16 to 1, he's cracking each way value. I don't think he's the winner. I think he'd be in the 4.
Right, we're running out of time. Matt, quickly go through the betting for the Fox Hunters, please.
Yeah, Willie Mullins again dominates this one, would you surprise? Bill Away, your favourite there at 5 to 2. A little bit worried about his jumping, as Bob and Co. He was a bit sticky at Haydock as well. He's at 9 to 2 for Paul Nicholls, and last year's winner came to pass 66 to 1 12 months ago. Only 8 to 1 this time, but loves the ground. And JP Manor Staker Wallace has been backed as well into single figures at 9 to 1. But even the Fox Hunter, which is supposed to be for the amateurs, even Willie Mullins is dominating this one.
Obviously, if you wear tweed, you've got a bit more of the knowledge about the Fox Hunters. So let's join a man who wears tweed. What wins the Fox Hunters, Tom?
It's not tweed. It's a bit of a check.
Well, of course,
it's... I'm going to the tweed outlet. I'm going bobbing with Bob and Co, who's top rated 146. He's a very hard man to please, Matt Humes. He keeps moaning about horses jumping.
Name of the game.
I thought he was nice and slick at Haydock. Not only that, this is very much his bag. He's a hunter chase specialist. He will take these apart.
I thought Staker Wallace would run very, very well in the Fox Hunters. And at a big price, Porlock Bay each way. Matt, you're wearing tweed today as well, so you should have a view on the Fox Hunters. What wins the Fox Hunters?
Yeah, the country gentleman. Do you know what? I think...
Yes.
What did I say? It came to pass is a big chance. But I'm going to agree with Porlock Bay. I spoke to Nick Schofield, and he was quite sweet on that one. Had some really good pointers for it. So the big price, 4 places, Porlock Bay. Brand new race though, Mark, the Mare's Chase. Ellie May smashed off the board yesterday after Allaho strutted his stuff. Was 6 lengths behind him at Turles earlier on in the season. 130 Cole Reevy. She's been the favourite for this race for a while. But you know what? I'm going to go for Shattered Love here. 5 lengths to find on Ellie May on form a couple of weeks ago. Is a festival winner as well. and the extra half furlong and the better ground, I think she'll get a lot closer. For me, she's an each way bet to nothing.
Yeah, Ella May, only 6th in the Mayor's Hurdle in 2019, the year Roxana won, Matt. Look, I'd be taking on the favourite. I think Magic of Light. I think the ground might have come good for Magic of Light for Jessica Harrington.
It's before 10 o'clock in the morning. The pubs are closed. How can Matt Humes possibly have had some mind-bending substance that makes him think Shattered Love has got any chance of beating the front two?
I'll just say 2 words to you, Tom. The shunter. Right, yes, come on, give us your selection.
Give me Cole Reevy, please. 5th in the Mayor's Novice a year ago. 3 from 3 over fences. P. Townend on board. Lots to like at the prices.
Right, and then we've got the Getting Out Stakes, the Martin Pipe Handicap Hurdle. It's Gigginstown have got a really good record in this, not just Gordon Elliott. Gigginstown won it when they were had the horses with Willie Mullins as well. Gigginstown have won it 4 times recently. They've got this Fire Attack quite high up in the betting, but it's a Willie Mullins Gentle to Me. But look at that, I quite fancy it's Gavin Cromwell one. And of course, Gavin Cromwell did so well yesterday in the Stayers. How do we bet very quickly?
Yes.
And give us a selection, Matt.
3-1 Gentleman to Me, the excellent Simon Torrens on board for William Mullins. Gabby Narco, Jamie Cotter, big fan of this one. We'll hear from him a little later, or go across all our social media. You'll see him on this race. I think he's quite sweet, and Gabby Narco been backed into 4-1. And
There's an upset in this last year, wasn't there?
We've seen the shunter land a £100,000 bonus. Langadan can add £50,000 to the Skelton's bank if he wins after winning the Imperial Cup on Saturday as well.
Right, selection time, Matt.
I'm going to go, I'll stick with why take on the Codfather, Gabby Narco.
Selection time.
For the double, for the bonus, number 22, Langadan for the Skeltons.
Right, we have got to be very, very quick. Right, 2 questions, Tom. The winner of the Well Child Cheltenham Gold Cup and your nap of the day.
Take a snap right now. Boum Photo. Nap of the day, however. And I'm strong on this horse. I think you'll do the double. Just mentioned him. Number 22, Langadan in the lucky last.
Boum Photo wins the Well Child Cheltenham Gold Cup and Milkwood each way in the County Hurdle.
I'm going to go, my nap of the day is Tritonic in the Triumph, and I think Champ wins the Well Child Cheltenham Gold Cup. Thanks for watching this week, by the way. We'll be back at Aintree. Tom, thanks for your company.
Thank you.
Matt, thanks for your company. Thanks for watching, but we've not finished today yet because we have still got Fred's Pushes at midday, and then Matt will be back with Joe Ross at 6 o'clock tonight, wrapping up the final day. Please gamble responsibly, and we'll see you again at midday. Be lucky.
All days like no other.
Who are the punters backing? It's the one we've all been waiting for.
World class racing.